Okay, I want to go over the last problem in the homework. And okay, so that's this. Okay, use a range function to set up a range and make it into a list. So, well, the range function is going to generate, it's going to set up a generator. So it's not going to give you the actual values from 0 to 9. So you have to use a list function to convert that into actual numbers, right? Now the first part is to save that as L2. Then if you print L2, that will have those numbers 0 through 9. Oh, okay. Okay, so the range is just a generator, so you have to convert that into a list with the list function, then you save it into L2, and then you get all the numbers. Okay. Up to this part, there was no problem. Everybody got that right. Second part is use enumerate to iterate over L2. So we want to iterate over all the numbers in L2. Then find the total of the index times 2 plus square of the value. And this is where the problem is. Now you need to understand what enumerate does, right? Okay, so enumerate, okay, so you want to enumerate over L1, L2, sorry. Okay. Now this enumerate is going to give you back, as it iterates over the list that we have provided, is going to give you two things. It's going to give you the index, and it's going to give you the corresponding value. Then you use in. So for I comma v in enumerate L2. So you'll take the first value. So the index is going to be 1. Value is going to be 0. So you can well, index is going to be 0. I will go from 0 through 9, and then the value will also go through from 0 through 9. Well, so it's not printing side by side. We'll be looking at how to make it print side by side later today. But what's important is that this IV, I comma v, will give you the index and the value. So if the values are different, then the index will still be 0 through 9, but the values will come from the list. Okay. So once we have that, then we have to find index times 2. So that will be I times 2 plus v squared. Okay. But we want to accumulate that. So first time I is 0, v is 0, so it will give you 0. Second time I is 1, v is 1, so 1 times 2 and 1 squared, and so on. But we want to keep adding that to so we can find the total. So we start with initializing total to 0, and then to accumulate, you use the plus sign and equal to. So total plus that. Okay. And once that is done, then you print the total. Okay. So this is the kind of logic that you should be thinking. Because we're going to have, so far we've been looking at small pieces where you just set things to one thing to another and so on. So we're going to get into more and more logic starting now in the next chapter and so on. Okay, so you have to think through it and get the code done. And if you have any questions while you're doing your homework, if you don't understand something, sometimes I think of something and I type something out, but what I'm thinking is probably not getting communicated to you. Sometimes that happens. Reach out to me, and I will, if I completely messed up, I rewrite it, or I'll try to explain it to you so we have an understanding of what actually I'm looking for. Okay, don't just give up and go. Okay, so reach out to me. I'll be happy, and I'm, anytime. You don't have to wait for office hours or anything like that. If I'm in front of my computer, almost all the time, and if I'm in front of a computer, except probably after dinner, I shut down. But if I'm there, I'm available. Okay, so feel free to email me, and if needed, we can do a Zoom session or whatever it takes. Okay, don't, if you get confused, don't give up. Okay, talk to me, and we'll figure it out together.